are live. Yes. Hello and welcome to the 11th episode of the Indian Football Casuals. Here, today we have Sirijon and Sai with us today, and we will have Siddharth who will be joining us in a few time, and Tanuj probably as well. So the agenda for today is Igor Stimac. Igor Stimac is exploding press conference, AIFF's reply, and the transfer news of Apuia, the whole conundrum which led his move to Mohan Bagan from Mumbai City, and which broke millions of hearts of East Bengal fans. So we will get to that later. Now we will start off with the main man in charge of Indian football, Igor Stimac, who is no longer a main man. Uh, so we'll start with Sirijon by first. Your initial reactions.
I'll take you back to 2019 when Stimac was announced as the national team coach in for the Indian national team. I know a lot of people know this. I just like to bring it up. So on platforms like Twitter and Reddit, you had an anonymous Croatian guy that kept posting the same thing. He, as a player, Stimac is okay. He's a legend for Croatia. Played in the 1998 semi-finals. Was really good in his position. Blah blah blah. As a coach, to be summarized simply, he's shit. And what the whole synopsis of the post was that Indian fans be prepared for tears. Fast forward to 2024, and that's what we all have. So all said and done, that's what has happened. And just for context for people that are listening in and that are hearing it, I don't want to be biased, I don't want to be anything. The squad with which Steamac qualified for the World Cup in the very last game of the qualification, that same squad that failed to gather or what do you call achieve a direct qualification for the World Cups, played the finals in the World Cup, played the World Cup finals against France, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that way, we have not progressed. Igor Stimac, okay, fine. AIFF is shit. Everyone that follows Indian football knows it. We have been shit for a long, long time. Our management, our everything has been questionable regarding a lot of things. But baseline for a random fan that watches football day in, day out, they would obviously say to you that AIFF is shit. And they are, obviously, yes. There are a lot of issues. You know, I don't personally believe they're just shit, but like there's way for room for improvement and stuff. But there's a lot of moving factors and stuff. Okay, let's leave that out. For a base football fan that watches just European football and comes to watch Indian football, they'll feel that yes, the football here's house is completely in disorder. Coming to Igor Stimac, he has been the most, what do you call, supported coach of Indian football for the last 30, 40 years. No
Probably
other
since
coach,
independence.
I would say since independence, but okay, fine, let's.
Across every sport, maybe except cricket.
Even in cricket, BCCI interferes.
Yeah, that's true.
No one interfered with Steamac's decisions and stuff during games.
Yeah,
Steamac was just said that you can't hold a camp during this period or you can't do this during this period. That is it. And Steamac's main problem lies in blaming that thing for his losses. Brother, you do not need a camp of 20, 30 days to beat Afghanistan's B C team. team that Ashley Westwood has said on record, a team that has 6 7 players that play gully football in the streets of Kabul and Kandahar, a war torn city. They do not have clubs. Yes, the rest of 11 12 players, some play in I League in India, they don't even start, and they turn out to be the differentiating factor in the games. Some play in the fifth or sixth divisions in Europe, which is lower than the I League in India. So please do not tell us that you need a 6 week, 5 week camp to beat that side. We've had coaches that have done it with 4 days' notice in the past. So my problem with Stimac was, yes, one good point he has bluntly out in the open showed what AIFF lacks. Very good of you. I wished you would have said those when you were taking your pay scale, or when you were taking your money, your monthly salary from them, not after you getting sacked. This is just like a rant going about that, oh, I didn't have support and stuff. We know you had support. Come on, you had support. AIFF fought for you with the government of India after the government of India refused to send your team to the Asian Games in China, where your so-called GPS vests were lost, which you blame that, okay, we don't have GPSs to play with and stuff. We had to use FC Goas. Yes, I get it. That's a fair point. Your GPS vest was lost. You had to use a club's vest. But then again, you were calling an analyst from a club to do your job. You were asking a guy to moonlight. So, yeah, like Igor has his points, but it's not like, it's all black and white. Only Igor is good and AIFF is black. It's not that. It's not that. He has his faults. He kept ignoring our questions regarding, what Arindam put out, the entire lobby of the national team. And he said, "You see, I was the first person." If I quote, if I remember, if my memory serves me right, this is what he said to my question. This is what he answered to me. I was the first person to come out in the public and say that, yes, I take the opinions of three senior players who are my captains, Gurpreet, Chetri, and Chingan. So the moment you say that, you are accepting that you are taking inputs from just a collective set of players in the national team's entire core of 27 to 30 players. Either you take the opinion of your main senior player, your captain, that's Sunil Chetri, who is way above the seniority levels compared to Jingan or Chetri, or else you take the collective inputs of each and every player. So he has problems. The problem is he's not willing to address his own problems. He has no answer for teams that just want to sit back and defend against India. If we look at his past 5 years, Afghanistan 4 games, we failed to defeat them. Look at what we did with Bangladesh. So any side in this region, even that game against Pakistan that we won very narrowly, he has no answer to teams that want to sit back and let you play football. He's someone that's sitting in his high chair and thinking, I'll always play against Kuwait, Qatar, UAE, blah, blah, blah. That's not happening. That's not happening. Because no matter how good a football you play against Qatar, UAE, or stuff like that, Iraq, against them, you're going to be beaten at the end of the day. At max, you can pull out a draw. You're not winning those games day in, day out. You need to beat these sides day in, day out. You need to beat Afghanistan, Maldives, Bangladesh day in, day out. So you have to look inward. And I completely agree, with everything that he has said against AIFF. Put me on record. Every point he has said against AIFF is true. There is no doubt about it. He was true to his words. That is what happened, we all know. But then that's not the entire picture of the scenarios that happened in Indian football during that period. There was a huge part that relied on him performing on the pitch against sides that you don't need all those to defeat. And he failed that. And if I could end this, his entire rant, his entire problem of all this is, why was he sacked? The entire word is, why was he sacked? If AIFF would have come out and said, we want to go into mutual termination, he wouldn't even have come out and spoken all those things. His entire problem is, why have I been sacked?
Basically he had a problem with when he stepped down from Croatian team as well, or when he was sacked from Croatia. He went by the media saying that uh, his successor rather, was not a good guy. He was doing lobbying himself, this and that. He said he gave many explosive interviews to Croatian media back then. The same guy who posted on Reddit said the same. Issue, the whole point of organizing the press meet, which we all three of us were part of, was he didn't like he was sacked. And I did a story regarding his mail to the AIFF General Secretary, which said that these reports tarnished my image. So everything was about his image. He never cared about Indian football. I I personally have ISL coaches. I've spoke to some of the ISL coaches unofficially, and some of them tell me that this guy never came to our training sessions, never asked us, never took our opinion, never. I mean, never even told us that please take care of this player, this and that. He just had his favorites of 30, 35 players all in all the 5 years, and that he said he just wants to develop those players. Okay, he had 53 debutants with him, this and that, but nothing. I mean, the end result is plain zero, and just I mean, it's so it went so downhill that this end of the chapter for Igor Stimac is so, I mean, so sour and so and what do I say, uh, so I mean, a sort of a disrespectful end of the entire thing. If he said he wanted to step down, he should have stepped down a year ago. This is what, if he said it. All in all, the blame goes to everyone, from Steamer to AIFF to the ones who discussed his contracts, this and that. So, all in all, a sad situation. Moving on, we have Tanuj who's joining us for the first time, and we have Sayak as well. So, Sayak, your thoughts, and then we will move to Tanuj on the Ego Steam match too.
Yeah, first of all, welcome Tanush to the show. Very interesting guy. He loves analytics, so we'll love to know from him what he thinks about Cmax tactics and everything. So coming to Cmax man management and whatever he has done in the last 4 years,
Five.
I think he's a guy who he's full of himself. Like, okay, like let's all, like as John said, like AFF has lots of issues. There is no youth team. The youth teams don't have coaches. Um, the leagues are a mess and everything. But to give AIF credit, as Srijan said it again, he's the most supported coach in the history of Indian sports in any team sport. Like there is no two ways about it. Like AIF literally did agree to whatever he had requested and asked. Like when the Asian Games fiasco happened, AIFF were reluctant. Like okay, ठीक है, like we are not going, and it's a government of India decision that top 8 teams will go. But AIFF did all they could do, and we did get an entry, and entry we were not supposed to get, and that's a big thing to lobby for your sport and go against set mandated rules. So in terms of the national team itself, AIFF did show enough intent and involvement to get the players and the coach enough platform and time to do good. And when it comes to his matches, see, like we have had great moments. We drew Qatar goalless in the Asian Cup 2020 three qualifiers in Qatar, and that was a great result, 0-0 draw. And we also drew with Iraq recently uh, in Thailand. Those are great results. But again, the Iraq draw was a result in a tournament which has no consequences. Okay, that's a great result and everything. So all in all, if we see the ups and downs in the last 4 5 years, we have more downs because see we don't expect in Indian world team to beat the big boys in Asia or tier two teams. We at least we should be beating tier three teams, and Afghanistan is a side we have been beating since time immemorial. Like I think we have lost only once back in 2014. It was probably Coco Habermans. I don't know who was the coach. So
2011 in SAF Championship in Nepal.
yeah, so it's what 13 years. So and we play Afghanistan pretty regularly due to South Championship. They were a South member, and into we got with them in two separate groups in two separate qualifiers. So we play them regularly and we never lose. Like even under Cmax tenure, we beat them in Kolkata. So it's a team we regularly face, and that's a team that has players who play in the I League. They have played in the I League, and they rule the I League. So you practically have players who have played in India, who are playing in India's second division. So how do you lose to them at home? That's ridiculous. And so and after the loss, there was absolutely no uh, no absolute reason from Stimac. He appears on social media after 2 3 days, makes a very patriotic post. We are this, we are that. I love my country, I love India, and all. So when you see someone trying so hard on social media and not giving you the actual answers you need in the press conferences, in the matches, while the matches are being played, you just know that guy is full of himself. Okay, and coming to his demands, like see, I know like we are bad, okay, but coming to his demands about having camps and everything, like give me 1 month camp, 3 weeks camp before every game. Okay, chalo, like FIFA World Cup qualifiers, Asian Cup we accept, but asking for camps before friendlies like in Merdeka or SAF or Kings, like you don't need that. Like and also like the whole Asian Cup fiasco. See the Euros are happening right now, and Netherlands, Russia are playing, France and Poland are playing. We have our own Euros. Asian Cup is our own Euro. Is the biggest tournament in Asia. We play the biggest boys, and the whole world covers the game. And the Asian Cup happened in the exact same World Cup stadium, so the stakes were high, and India was right there. Okay, so and India did have 2 to 3 weeks of camp, and what was Stimac's reaction? We are not looking at Asian Cup as a serious competition. We will look seriously at the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Okay, ठीक है. The qualifiers happened 2 months later, and we don't we get a single point against Afghanistan. The away game, Afghanistan don't even play at home. They're playing in Saudi Arabia. Okay, like it's literally our home game. We have more fans in Saudi than the Afghans itself. So we have two home games with Afghanistan practically. So getting just 1 point against Afghanistan, you do not need any new teams. You do not need any ecosystem. You do not need any camps to beat Afghanistan. So yeah, okay, like CMAC has put some pertinent points against AIFF. ये नहीं है वो नहीं है ठीक है, but there is no excuse. Like, has he apologized even once after losing to goddamn Afghanistan in Guwahati? The fans were angry, there were protests in the press conference. There was absolute no like no shame on his face. Okay, we have done mistakes, we take responsibility. Has he taken responsibility even once? Yes, he's not. So okay, like he has his issues. Like he has taken it about himself, as Ruthwich said, that he has got a hit in his ego that I can be sacked. How can I be sacked? I'm the messiah of Indian football for the last 4 years. How can I be sacked? So he has gone full ballistic, and I don't know where he goes from here, because losing an India job after losing to sides like Afghanistan, after getting such support, I'm sure anyone wanting to employ CMAC will look at his track record and they will have to think twice before hiring him. So the question is, what does Indian football do? Like, who do we go for? Like, CMAC was someone who did not have a great record with Croatia, but he, like, one thing I liked about CMAC was there was a pertinent like a deemed change in playing style. ठीक है, we were playing a lot more passing football. We were not very dependent on the wings. We were not very dependent on long balls, which is traditional in Indian football style, which Constantine almost perfected, our Sriram's favorite coach. And so yeah, Stimac did give us a leeway in our playing style. But again, see, club football may playing style matters because it goes for like 40 matches per year. But national team, you play what, 8 matches per year. 8 में से 3-4 friendly, only 4 will be hyper competitive matches. So you don't have leeway to experiment there and show off your playing style and everything. You have to get results. Okay, and India is a tier 3 Asian side. Like, if we don't, like, it's given that we will lose to the bigger sides like Qatar and everything. So when you are getting the easier sides, you have to get results. Simple as that. You did not. Okay, so I'm not really sure what's happening here. So Stimac has to take responsibility. He has not taken responsibility for anything right now. He promised that we are going to FIFA World Cup round 3 qualifiers. After the win in Kuwait, he was so confident. So has he even talked about his own statement? Forget AIFF. Has he talked about his own statement of promising that he will resign? He said on record that he will resign. So it does not even matter how much money uh, the AIFF owes you, what is your contract, does not matter. You literally said on record that you will resign. Did you? You did not. So I don't know what CMAC is doing.
Thank you for the rants. We enjoyed it. Coming on to Tanuj, Owen Coil FC.
Hello guys.
You can have your thoughts, Tanuj, and thank you for coming. You're welcome. You can have your thoughts.
Like I have mixed opinion on Igor Stimac at the moment. Like in their best moment came under him, was in the ISL era, and also the worst also came under him. No? Like we have heavily underperformed in the World Cup qualifiers in the both of the events. Like in 2022 World Cup qualifiers, we had taken 7 points in 8 games, and we had taken 5 points in 6 games in this World Cup qualifiers when we have the ease of the draw. So I have mixed opinion about him. Like he want to implement a brand of football that needed technical awareness, and he needs a lot of time to make his player understand about the system. So for that, you need a lot of time to implement your brand of football. But again, he didn't get enough time, and then there's also conflict between the federation. So I think so there will always be a medium inversion in this regard. So I think this also play a role in his downplay. It also downplays good work, and also like he he also will underperform in this regard. No?
He's underperformed in every regard, not one regard. He's underperformed in every regard.
Yeah.
Not in one regard. He has a nice social media management sense,
Huh.
and he gives great quotes.
Yes.
I think
He's the
during
guy.
his interview, he impressed everyone with his interview. Right? When AF had taken the interview, every coach in the house, like He had given the names of players he want to reward in that moment. So he was impressive with his interviews during the interview in Saga in 2019. Like he rewarded the ISO best performer in the Merdeka Cup. Sorry, it was in Thai Cup. It was a Kings Cup, right? In 2019. He rewarded the best performer in 2019, but again,
Kings Cup. Kings Cup.
Kings Cup. So, but again, we faulted very heavily in this regard.
Right. Now, after this matching, what next? Who's the next person after Igor Stimac? There are, I mean, more than 100 requests that has went in, applications that has went in for the Indian head coach role. Multiple big personalities, big CV players have applied. One of which is the current Scotland assistant manager. Reportedly, he's the one who's applied. Uh, I know a couple of coaches that has applied as well. Uh, Obviously, you wouldn't want to name him right now, but if they go through, Siri John is laughing. Siri John knows who I'm talking about. Uh, if the coaches go through, we will have an update on them too. But my only request would be to have someone who has worked in Indian football before. With the experiences from Igor Stimac, what we've learned is yes, our federation is in complete shambles. There's no two ways about it. But then also, the second side is you have to understand the limitations of Indian football, and you don't have to complain. Stephen, who was here for last what 20, he was here from 2015. If I'm sure, if I'm not wrong. So he knew what he was doing. He never complained about anything. So I whoever comes at the end of Indian football team, he should be open. He shouldn't be complaining nature as Steamatch was. Should understand the nuances and the limitations of Indian football. Yes, unlike other national teams, you won't have a pool that is growing up from under 17, under 19, under 23 level. You have to scout players. You need to go to ISL games. You need to go to I League games. You need to go to different coaches as well, different training sessions in at different clubs. Look at the players, and then look after them. Scout from youth leagues, whatever you have in the name of youth leagues here. So there are big challenges that come up with Indian football job. It is not an easy job because uh, we don't have a what you call a lineup from under 15 and the 17 levels where you can develop. Okay, you see, like a player is called up for under 17, 19, 23, or you call them up for senior team. That is not going to happen. My only request to whoever's coming is be ready for what the challenges that are in front of Indian football, and secondly, be less complaining. To be honest, uh, should there are chances that you will complain, and there will be I mean, a desired, okay, your requirements may be desired, or maybe some issues that are pertinent with Indian football. No one disagrees that, but there should be lobby as well, which we possibly saw in the Stimac and tenure, because if reports are to be true, uh, the last 5 years we had lobby from possibly what senior players said and what reports are coming in. So we are not claiming anything, but what is there in the reports. We are just highlighting it here and want to make sure that whoever comes next does not ruin Indian football and takes whatever, however it goes forward. We don't have any any extra large requests. We just hope that you take care of us and make us feel loud with Indian football, and that's about it. Saraj on by you can take over.
See, you mentioned, right? We were talking the other day about how Stimac scouted Ashik from Kerala Sevens, right? We were talking the other day. As a coach of the national team, I'm not telling you to go and watch Kerala Sevens. I'm not telling you to go and watch Bengal Cape. Believe me, if you do, you will find such level of talents you would be mind blown. But I'm not telling you to do that. That's going to have a huge impact on your entire process and stuff. I'm not asking you to do that. But Stephen got one out of those. Go to watch your national league games, top level league games. भाई सारा नहीं जाना है. Don't go for every game. Weekend games you can go, or at least the big teams. If we see the current structure that Stimac had of the national team, it was around 7-4 structure, 7-5 structure. Two from that 7 and 5 is from the same team. I'm not naming teams now. They'll bombard me with DMs and stuff. How dare you demean us and stuff, blah, 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 blah. Forget it. That 7-5-8-6, whatever structure they have, it's between them. And if Stimac wants to get those in 7-5-4, it's like 7-5-4. I'll add the bracket, one more addition. It's like 7-5-4. That's the national team made up. Done. Khatakhat done. Bhai. Fine. You want that done? You want that done? You want that done? Go to watch their games. No problem. I have no problem. You having a preferred selected 11 of players, in selected 15 or 14 of players. Just go to watch them play every week. भाई देख तो लो कैसा खेल रहा है बंदा. Is he even shooting from the right position? Is he passing from the right position? Is he playing enough? Is he fit enough? Is he mentally stable to play? Everything matters in modern day football. Just go to watch them play. He didn't. I remember he went to watch a Inter Kashi game in the I League to scout Edmund after Marco Benali went on a rant against him. You had to have an ISL coach go on a rant to get the coach come on and see a game, and then he went on to extend his contract and go to Delhi and see Punjab FC play. That was the level we were in. Now, as you say, obviously we have like what you said, 100 plus coaches have applied. Last I checked, 4 or 5 days back, it was 65. Now, obviously, it's crossed 100, and I think by July it's going to cross 150, 200, which is natural. If we take Marcus's words for it, the last time AIFF had such an open, what do you call, CV process or interview process, they had around above 150 applicants. India is a big nation, no matter it. Don't go after our FIFA ranking, don't go after our anything. India is a big nation. India itself is a brand. If any coach can come here and get anything done, no matter how small, no matter how big, it's going to be a huge plus for their CV, because the whole world knows India is a cricket crazy nation. So if you can get football to any sort of space into the major population, it's going to be huge. So India is a big name. People know India doesn't lack money in such sort. Yes, we have our issues in the federation. Everyone knows it. In fact, every federation has it. Our problem is that like we've had friction with the federation and the clubs. That is why you have this friction happening. Otherwise, clubs would have willingly said to the federation, "Come use our platforms to scout whomever you want," or blah 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 blah. But obviously, because it's AIFF, I get the source. Whoever becomes the coach, first and foremost, needs to have an understanding of the level of Indian football. And by level, I mean not the structure of Indian football. I mean the level of Indian football. Currently, a striker or a midfield, fine. Let's take the example of two Davids, right? Oh God, I don't want to name them. Chalo. Two Davids, right? One has signed for East Bengal. One is the verge of signing for Mumbai City FC. One has played his entire life in the I League and lower levels of the league. One has played majority of his career in I League clubs. Sorry, ISL clubs. Now he's stated by a reputed portal to join for Mumbai City FC. I don't know if it's going to go through or not, but let's compare it. Coming back, that same David that is projected to join for a big club was also one of the biggest signings for Bengaluru FC going back the seasons. Right. He was projected to be one of the big signings, having come up from the national team ranks and stuff and everything. I would ask someone that understands technical football. Just compare these two Davids from the same state, having the same first name. Just compare them and tell me what is the difference between their quality. This is the reality of Indian football. The difference of quality between Indian players is very, very, very small. It lies in the very intrinsic details that is of growing up, nutrition, and daily routine and practice. So the moment you can get someone that is talented who hasn't had the daily routine, nutrition, and daily practice into that fold, you will be like, fine, I have a find. That's not a find, that was already there. You fail to realize this in a very low time or a very lesser time. So this is Indian football. So I want a coach that doesn't look down on the other leagues. That's like say I League or be open. Go to the I League second division games. I remember watching Wim Kovermans. I have a selfie with Wim Kovermans. He went to watch a game between Air India and Indian Arrows. Indian Arrows were playing from Delhi by then. Like Air India, yeah, it was Air India, I think, or one of the corporate teams. So Wim was that level of detail. He wanted to go for the games. So that is all I think. Whoever comes as the national coach, please have an open mind. Stimac said, "I came to India as an open mind, but your football is imprisoned." His open mind wasn't open minded enough. His open minded was open to just 4 or 5 players of the national team who gave him inputs. This guy's playing well, this guy's playing well, which can be motivated from a lot of factors I don't want to get into, but that was it.
Yeah, so I will go in quickly before my internet again dies. Thank you, Tanuj, for recharging. So, see, about the coach itself, I think, see, yeah, I kind of agree with Ruthvich when he said earlier that I think someone working in Indian football already would be a nice nice selection, because of late we have had coaches who have not seen Indian football from a very closer look, like working in the clubs and everything. They have always worked outside, and they have come to the national team, and they have had a shock when it comes to like how to deal with all other factors which affect the national team. So, but again, I think yeah, like if I had to choose someone who has worked with Indian football clubs, I would choose Owen Coyle. We already have a fan club member here. I think he's someone who knows how to work with limited resources. Like he has worked with clubs who are not very ambitious in the market, but they do the right kind of signings, and they do pull the results off. Like Jamshedpur won the goddamn league itself, and Chennai also pulls up random upsets and random qualifications of the playoffs out of nowhere. Okay, so I think he's someone I would like to see, and he's also an Englishman. I think he will be pragmatic enough. Will not be too ideal. Like play that football, play his football. I think he's very result oriented, which helps. But again, I think apart from going into Indian club football, I think one name which comes into my mind is the Jordanian coach who resigned recently. I think he can be one guy AIFF can look at, because he has worked with the Jordan national team, which is at par with the Indian national team when it comes to the economics and finances. Like they are not a super team. They don't have the super players. The league is one of the best leagues in Asia. They're kind of a league which is a bit higher than ISL, but nothing extravagant. Okay. So I think he also pulled off great results in the Asian Cup. They went on the final itself. People losing to Qatar. So I think he's someone who has worked with a federation, a country, a culture which is not hyper hype hyped into football. They don't spend much. They are not great football fans as well. So I think he's someone who can handle the complexities of Indian football and the limitations of AIFF, as Ruthvik said. Like we are not a rich federation. We will not be able to afford uh, long long camps. We don't have the liberty to have youth national team coaches. There's not a system in place. It's very temporary. A coach comes in the national team under 17, आता है खेलता है फिर and he's गायब. So there are so many limitations. So we need someone who will accept the limitations and not blast AIFF in the press or social media. You have to work with what you got. So I think coming to the point where looking at players apart from ISL, I think one great discovery we got from our previous coach Constantine was Lalianzola Changte. Changte was someone who did not even make a international debut, did not even make a club debut, but he made an international debut before his club debut. He was just 16 or 17 when he was with DSK Shivaji Academy. So Constantine was brave enough to trust the scout reports, trust the hype, and to trust the youth. And he went on to give Changte an international cap in the SAF Championship in 2015, the one in Kerala. So he performed. So so we need coaches who will go out of the usual ISL 11 clubs, 12 clubs, 13 clubs, and be open enough to the idea that we have great players in the I League, we have great players in the state leagues, we might even have great players in the university leagues. So I think at the moment, yeah, like of course, most countries will prefer players from the national first division, but Indian football is at a place where ISL does not necessarily have the best Indian players. Like it's still in a growing phase. It has been a top division like 3-4 years ago, and there are still players who are great in the lower divisions who might not be in the spotlight, but they have the equal skill set. And I personally believe in football is at a stage where, except the 10 to 12 nationality players, all the others kind of provide a similar outcome, a similar capability when it comes to playing actual football. Okay, so I think it's not rocket science to go trust players outside the national division and trust players in the lower division. So I think we really need a coach who can work with financial limitations, who can work with management limitations, who is open to the idea of picking players outside the national division. So I hope AFF does not go for someone too prolific. We don't want a showman who will be greater than AFF himself. And we also need someone very important who can control the dressing room, does not fall under the pressure of the the big players, the big money owners who have 3 crores per year ka salary, they think that the players might think they are bosses, but they must know the coach is the boss, and the coach must have full liberty and not get influenced by the players at all.
Right, Siddharth, welcome
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Your
Hi
thoughts. What are
everyone.
the thoughts? Your thoughts. Right.
Okay, my thoughts. Well, my thoughts are pretty simple, yaar. देखो, now first from the point of view of fans, we have exaggerated our expectations to a very big level after home victories in SAF Cup, Intercontinental Cup. We all know that. Okay, I'm not gonna go that way. But the truth is, we don't deserve what we are ranked right now. But some fans have been catered in such a way, have been, the victims of marketing that they think, no, our shelf is much big, and they are not even ready to accept that our team, national team players don't have basic covered. I'm not going to criticize anyone in particular. I'm not going to name anyone, but sadly, even after so much emphasis on the infrastructure, on the money, I'll tell you a shocking fact. So basically, India's current ranking is 121, I guess, and you won't believe in terms of wages, ISL is ranked 37th in the world. So there's a huge disparity between what we are ranked and what we are getting paid on. Okay. So the money is there, investment is there, infrastructure is there. Then why are we lacking? Right? You can again go and ask the federation officials what are they doing. You can ask about the grassroots and whatnot. We have done that part. My question coming back to the thing is that we can't always blame the coach. Okay, Igor Stimac might have failed, but I still remember those who are saying or who are, very much agitated with Igor going out or getting against him, were the same ones 2 years back or 3 years back were celebrating and saying, okay, fine, India तो अभी passing football खेल रही है और कुछ ना हो बॉल पंजाब वाली क्लियरेंस तो हम नहीं करते हम तो अच्छी फुटबॉल खेलते हैं so I am not gonna blame Igor Stimac entirely. ठीक है AIFF we all know is I'm not gonna use the word but है अंदर से खोखली है ठीक है हम सारी दोष कोच को नहीं दे सकते अगर हमारी फर्स्ट टीम की प्लेयर्स में बेसिक सेंसेस नहीं है we can't receive ball properly except 3 or 4 players, our players' levels are very much saturated. And also, we can't run on wings like the other Southeast Asian countries who are doing so well up front. We can't use PIOs. So there are certain things which comes to play before deciding and कोच के ऊपर सब कुछ फोड़ देना कि भाई कोच ही नहीं है ये है ठीक है देयर आर मेनी मिस्टेक्स हाँ फॉर इफ यू आस्क मी आई वांट एन इंडियन कोच tried and tested banda Khalid Jamil. That's it. That's the only thing I can think of. You can call me a Jamil fanboy. I don't give a shit. But honestly, भाई बंदा उसको अंदर से पता है उसको 5 साल दे दो आप कुछ मत करो 5 साल दे दो वो जाएगा लोकल लीग्स में जाएगा केरला सेवंस का बात कर रहे थे सृजन भैया हमारे जाएगा CFL देखेगा मणिपुर जाएगा मिजोरम जाएगा उसको पता है कहाँ से क्या आने वाली है उसको दे दो 5 साल आप देख लो क्योंकि उसको पता है स्टैंडर्ड्स क्या है ये जो बड़े बड़े कोचेस आते हैं अपने बाहर से उनको लगता है हाँ इंडिया है बड़ा मार्केट है अभी तो लोग भी आ रहे हैं ट्रू यू सी द फैन एंगेजमेंट ऑफ इंडियन टीम इट्स वन ऑफ द बेस्ट इन एशिया you see the ISL records, you see how much support we are getting right now. पहले players used to plead and come, भाई आओ support करने, भाई अब तो तुम्हें सब मिल रही है, पैसे मिल रही है, fan engagement है, सब कुछ है. Then where are we lacking? Always भाई कोच को कटघरे में खड़ा करने से नहीं होगा. Our players
Side
need to stand up.
Yeah.
Our
Side
players need to stand up.
Yeah, Siddharth, Khalid Jamil अगर कोच होता है ना तो we might have to reincarnate Subhash Bhomik on top of his head, you know. And secondly, Bengaluru will never get any game if Khalid Jamil gets
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't want to go back to that era. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है बॉस कोई दिक्कत नहीं है सी आई एम नॉट अ खालिद जमील लवर बट ऑनेस्टली मतलब उससे अच्छा अभी जो पोजीशन पे हम है आई डोंट सी एनीवन कमिंग फ्रॉम दी सुन के आएगा कुछ तो बाहर से उसको भी एक स्ट्रॉबेरी दुनिया प्रोजेक्ट की गई है कि हाँ इंडिया ओ काफी लोग है, ये है वो है, उसको भी लगेगा
Trevor
कि है
Morgan,
फुटबॉल इज नॉट देयर। या
Siddharth Trevor
अरे
Morgan.
ओके, बट मतलब रिसेंट पास्ट में उसका नहीं पता मुझे, सो दैट्स व्हाई आई एम नॉट श्योर, लाइक इज ही कोचिंग, आई एम नॉट टू अवेयर ऑफ इट। ओके
Coaching the Australian
ओके
under-23 team.
ओके, देन सही है, लाइक लास्ट टाइम ही वाज 2 years back, राइट? ही वाज इन इंडिया 2-3 years बैक। ओके फाइन, या ही नोज इंडियन फुटबॉल इन एंड आउट, या दैट कैन बी अ नेम एज वेल, या। बट अगर आप इंडियन पूछो, मेरे हिसाब से वही है कि भाई अपने बंदे को पता है अपना लेवल क्या है, वी डोंट नीड टू प्ले एग्जैजरेटिव टिकी टाका फुटबॉल, ये वो हमसे नहीं हो पाएगा। खेलो भाई, आप उड़ाओ, बॉल उड़ाओ, खालिद जमील नोज किसको कहाँ पे बैठाना है, किसको नंबर 9 यूज करवाना है, मारेगा। ठीक है,
देखो,
जैसे तैसे वो
बेसलाइन
हो
फैक्ट
जाएगी।
ये है कि खालिद जामिल को तनुज ने साइन कर लिया है 2 साल के लिए,
2 साल के लिए।
तो
ओहो,
हमारा
खालिद भाई
है,
गया।
बोलेगा हमारा है, 2 साल
दगाबाज,
के लिए हमारा है।
पास कॉपी जाना पड़ेगा।
दगाबाज।
वो खालिद भाई गया, and like
क्रॉस
as
कॉपी
much
करना
as
पड़ेगा।
I like Indian coaches, no, that's not the way forward. Like I don't see
I
any Indian coaches that can take us in that
मे बी,
way forward.
but
Like
for the time being, yeah, for the time being, I'm not saying for the vision 2047, just like our, AIFF says and, bullies us. But yeah, मतलब short term के लिए अभी जो रायता फैला हुआ है, at least to clear that stuff up, I think that might be a good choice.
but Khalid Bhai is
right.
gone. No point in talking
Uh,
ओनली
about Khalid Bhai.
स्ट्राइकोस चलेगा, ओनली स्ट्राइकोस चलेगा पंजाब एफसी।
Wait, okay, okay,
okay.
okay, okay.
Let's hear
Stykos
Tanu's
is
opinion.
Stykos is someone.
Tanuj will go first, and then we can build on strikers.
Okay,
Tanuj,
okay.
you can go.
Like I have three nomination for head coach position. Like first Owen Call हो गया, second is Khalid Jamil, and third is Manuel Marquez. I think they understand the lower technical threshold of Indian players. ये fancy football नहीं खेलना है, and they can also adapt to the short camps. तो ये ज़्यादा टाइमिंग डिमांड नहीं करेंगे, जैसे कि I need 1 month and so I need one to prepare against Afghanistan या फिर नेपाल के अगेंस्ट, इतना 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 टाइमिंग नहीं चाहिए होगा. So these are good nomination, और ये माइक्रो चेंजेस के हिसाब से अडेप्ट कर सकते हैं. They don't and regarding Igor Stimac, he was trying to implement he was trying to implement a brand of football जिसमें इन फुटबॉलर्स के पास रोल क्लैरिटी नहीं था. There was a lack of cohesion. So उसके हिसाब से हमें अडेप्ट करना पड़ेगा, जैसे कि ओन कॉल खाली जामिल है, दे डोंट इम्पोज अ ब्रांड ऑफ फुटबॉल. तो they don't play a specific way of football, और उनके पास फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी रहता है टू मैक्सिमाइज इंडियन टैलेंट. तो ये मेरे नॉमिनीज है. आई थिंक दे कैन अडेप्ट. सो व्हाट आर योर ओपिनियन ऑन दिस, प्लीज?
Sirijon Bhai first. He has. We will go with Sirijon Bhai, and then we'll come opinion one by one.
See, basically for me, fine. Let's start with Khalid Bhai. I don't feel he's still suited for the national team job. There are things.
She's on the, if you have to pick any Indian, let's like who will you pick? Let's just Indian options.
Thangba Singto.
Okay.
Do you think Clifford Miranda can be a good
Yeah.
coach?
That's
Nice.
that's the only Indian option I will pick. Not Khalid Jamil, not anyone else, not Santosh Kashyap, not anyone else. Whoever fits the profile, I know the profile and everything. The only Indian that, given it's the end of the world and I have to pick an Indian, I will pick Thangboy Singto.
Yeah, fair enough. Like he has managed Hyderabad FC itself. Like he's only managing, so he has enough experience at top also. Yeah, Gautam Gambhir is also a great option at this point, I think.
The thing
हाँ
is,
गौतम गंभीर.
मैं वही सोच रही गौतम गंभीर बोल.
KKR man, KKR.
the only thing is, Indian football is in doldrums. I know Khalid Jamil. I've seen him coach East Bengal from close. I've seen him coach Northeast United FC up close. I've seen him coach Aizawl FC up close. He's a good coach. Okay, fine. I don't want to get into the other stuff in a live platform. The things that I don't like about him and stuff. That's okay. But for a national team, not happening. Let's get into the serious contentions for the spot. People I know have applied for the spot. Trevor, yes, he's one of my favorite coaches that has ever coached in India. He knows Indian football. The best thing about Trevor is he knows that he has to build a style depending on his players. He did that with his East Bengal 1.0. He tried to do that during his East Bengal 2.0, which was marred and sabotaged by a lot of things that were not in his hands that happened off the field. I don't want to get into those. He took Kerala Blasters to the finals. Now I know a lot of people will come out all guns blazing. David James was the coach. Yes, he was the coach on paper. Rest I won't say. David James was on the field playing. Uh, the man knows Indian football. He knows his limitations with Indian players. He knows what he can do with Indian players, and that's all about it. What we want to know from a coach. Second coach that is doing the rounds and that has done the rounds is about all the European coaches. Let's be honest. The two Bengaluru FC coaches that are doing the rounds, I don't want them. They are a very good Bengaluru FC squad, and they fail to do shit with them. One led Bengaluru FC to the finals. Simon, like I think it was Simon, right?
Yes, Grayson. No, 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 no.
But
Yeah, Grayson, sorry. Yes, Grayson.
yeah, yeah,
My bad.
Simon led Bengaluru FC to the finals, but it had a lot of background story to it, a lot of backgrounds things happening to it, which in a way is good, in a way it's bad. Marco Pezzaoli, no, I don't like. Again, he's a very, what do you call it? Captive of his
Stimac
own ideology.
SK.
He's a
Stimac
captive.
SK.
Yeah, he's a captive. No, he's not Steamac SK. Steamac is a guy that just blames the association. Marco is someone that's a captive of his own ideology. He suffers from Stockholm syndrome. That is like the guy, person that kidnaps you, you fall in love with the person that kidnaps you. It's his ideology that mars him, which sadly at this point of time cannot be implemented in Indian football. He has a very good ideology, by the way, and I trust it, and maybe future going down the line, uh, he could implement this in the Indian subcontinent, but right now it's not the current time and phase for him to do that. The person I want to talk about is Tychos. Firstly, the man was handicapped. Handicapped how? He had to play a foreign goalkeeper for a lot of games. A foreign goalkeeper.
He is an
And
Indian
that to
goalkeeper right now.
and that to Kiran Limbu. Okay, it's
He
not
is
a
Indian
foreign
only.
goalkeeper, and it's not a foreign goalkeeper that you have Manuel Neuer or Marc-Andre Ter Stegen or anyone else. It's Kiran Limbu from Nepal that you have guarding the goal, and he was forced. Like, let's be honest, we know the facts. He had to substitute either of Mehdi Talal or Juan Mera to make up. And then let's come to the Indian players that he had. He played Nikhil Prabhu as CDM. Tell any top six ISL clubs that want to fight for the playoff spot. Will you choose Nikhil Prabhu as your CDM for the season? And all of them would just like shoo you out of their offices or buildings or whatever they have, makeshift tents or whatever they have, that just go. And that man did it with that. He nearly reached this top six. He's someone that doesn't complain. He understands the issue that is present with his side, with what he has, and he adapts. The way he benched Brandon, the time when the ISL started for Punjab FC, people were thinking Brandon is one of those players that can never be benched. He chose the brave decision. Let's bench Brandon. No problem. He can come on in and impact the game. He chose youngsters to come in the right back and the left back positions. He chose youngsters like Kipjen to come in and just showcase themselves. We need a coach that is brave. We do not need a coach that is worried about his seat that he's sitting in. Indian football currently needs a coach that is brave to take risks. Say in the upcoming games, we have a coach that is willing to play XYZ as a player who is doing well in his club. Say David or Ishan Pandita or whomever you call it, Manveer Singh as a number nine. No, be brave to do that choice. If you fail, even then, people will not question you that much. The hardcore fans, people who understand football, they understand. Okay, the coach is trying, but you have to show that effort. You have to show that effort to get in players to replace these positions. You're a coach, talking about Stimac, you're a coach who's benched Mahesh for so long, and he's probably been one of the best Indian wingers throughout the ISL season for the past two seasons. He can cut inside from the wings, he can play through the middle, and yet what you're doing is like, you know, big games, you're just like, no, I'll go for the safer option. That means you're playing for your chair. You're not playing for the jersey or the logo. You're saying, I'm a true Indian who plays for the logo. No, you are someone that is playing for the chair, to stay in that chair. We need coaches that are brave, that want to take risk. And I'll be honest with you. 90% of the Indian football fraternity that understand Indian football. See, Indian football fraternity is very small. Let's be honest about it. And people understand football. So the moment a coach tries to bring in new players and give them chances and try something new, the people will support it given that choice is based on merit, not lobby. If that choice is based on merit about how that player is playing in the league or the leagues that he is playing in, they'll obviously get support. We have always done that. And we've been a country that supports young talents, given it's based on merit. Because we have so much of lobby in every sector of life, sport is our, what do you call it, exit. Sport is where we try to exhibit that, this is one space where everyone is equal. There is no lobby, there is no reservation, there's nothing. So we can go out there and express. So the moment a coach comes in and says, I'll get in players that are performing well, people will support them. People will.
Uh, Hello. So again, what you said is true. I mean, when you look at it, there should be this thing for meritocracy and not for lobbying. I mean, we've seen the lobbying days in the last 5 years, possibly, and possibly earlier as well. We don't know what the truth is, and we will never know. But we were talking about the three choices. Three choices. Sirijon Bhai talked about the Stykos. Stykos had a guy called Tekcham Abhishek Singh and Lungdim. Lungdim wasn't a right back. He was made right back in the I League. He was not made right back in the ISL. He was made right back in the I League. And when Punjab FC won the I League, they were not the best team on paper. They had 38 years old Luka Matsen up front and 36 years old Kiran Neuer at the back. So you could understand. And uh, to be
किरण
very
नायर क्या होता है भाई?
to be very honest, Roundglass did not invest. I'm sorry. Roundglass did not invest as they should. They did not support Stykos in the January window as well. They just got Sahil Tavora on loan, which was just a very good signing. Apart from that, when you know that he's not playing wingers, the management is giving him wingers from Kerala Blasters. They are signing players who play as out and out winger. After December, Stykos understood that these Indian wingers don't have uh, a skill that they can cut in and create chances. He understood that, and he did not have Jordan, who was not fit until January. Yet after January, he designed a system. Maybe okay, you can say that his front three were foreigners, fair, but he had likes of Suresh Mehtai, who no one heard about him before, a new foreigner in Dimitrios Chatsis IS, uh, Mohammad Salah, who wasn't that great. Maybe the stat will suggest you otherwise, but for me, he wasn't that great. Lungdim wasn't a high class right back, or Abhishek Singh wasn't a high class right back. Yet he trusted them, and they almost 3 points they missed. They missed playoffs by just 3 points. And just one chance, if they had got one chance against, if they had scored against Odisha in the second last game before the East Bengal game, they would have been there in Chennai in FC's position. They would have been there. We don't know whether they will go on and qualify for semi-finals, but that was a statement. And second point I would like to make for Strikers is Punjab FC never trained in Delhi. They never trained in JLN. They were training in Punjab. They were playing in Delhi. Some of the times they did play in Sudeva's academy for couple of games, but they were traveling every time from Punjab to Delhi. And don't forget the ISL schedule, which was cramped up with everything. They had to move south, they had to move east, everything. And yet, none of his players, I interviewed Mati Talal mid-season as well. I interviewed him now. That was a guy, no one from Punjab FC ever complained. There were issues with the management, that is okay, sure. But Stikos Vorjakis had a full support of his dressing room, and that is how coaches are made. If you have a respect in the dressing room, you are going to you are going to get a very big role. Strikers wanted to stay at Punjab. He had some disagreements. He applied for Kerala Blasters job. He was told that no, they were looking for a fresh profile. But and that is the only reason for me to back Stikos, because he's the guy who's worked with a certain gentleman called Diego Simeone, a person who's at the helm at Atletico de Madrid, and he's told me that Scaloni used to come attend their training sessions, and I've never unfortunately I was not from Delhi, and I did not have a chance to speak with him. Maybe Tanuj has spoken to him in a
Yes,
couple
yes,
of
yes.
press conferences, but I was writing all the press conferences. I could understand what he was trying to convey, what he was saying. I could understand the emotions of what he was saying. He never complained. Many of the referees' decision went against everyone. He was the only guy among 12 coaches, 11 or 12 coaches, who never complained. He said, okay, in this moment we were bad, this transition bad, this, that. He took every time. Whenever they did not win a game, he took a blame on himself. He said, I am responsible, I am responsible. I can
This
bring
is,
you, yeah,
this is what I want from a coach that takes ownership of its own mistakes. We know the federation is shit. Every Indian football fan knows the federation is shit as it can get. Maybe we're shittier than Afghanistan. Yes, we are. But we need a coach that can stand up and say, yes, this was my fault. Stimac was not there. Stimac was like, no, this is not my fault. This is me and 69 others. He was blaming all those.
right. Now we are done with, the coaches part. Say that you want to say something in very brief, so then we can move on to the Apuia thing, and then we can cut off the podcast.
Yeah, okay. Just one thing. That's what I always say. I need someone who has a basic understanding of Indian football and its level. We can't just take anyone from outside. That is why I agree with Sijon on the Trevor Morgan front because he has seen those situations. Obviously, because he established a team which was pre-ISL era, right? It was in I League, so he knew like where are the players coming from, and he knew what resources he have had. And again, talking about ownership, he owns it. I mean, yeah, अगर बुरा खेलेगी भाई, East Bengal fans everyone knows. I don't need to say anything how much is the pressure and how much is not. So yeah, I mean, apart from Khalid Jamil, I would agree with Trevor Morgan. I mean, according to me, that's all. आप लोग बताओ.
I have
So
interacted with
quiet
this
हो
kind
गए.
of in the press conference. I think he's a simple person. He doesn't complain much about the referee decision or and he says he supports his players. I think he's a good person. And he's also flexible with his tactics. Like uh, he was making Abhishek adapt as a wing back in the season, and Ashish was covering his Ashish was covering his spot, which allowed Ashish Tekam Singh to overlap and put some crosses to Jordan. So he was flexible with his resources. I think his tech was a good pick for a national team coaching department, I guess.
Right. Before we end this series on by, the stage is all yours. Apuia deal.
Fine, let's
Let's
start.
go. Please,
So,
no tears, no tears, no tears.
आग लगने वाली है.
okay, let's start. Okay. Right after Mohun Bagan won the Shield, they understood that they have an issue in CDM position, particularly if they play an foreign CDM, they have to sacrifice a centre back or an attacking midfielder, which they were not willing to do. So they thought of investing in an Indian CDM. Same time frame, cut to East Bengal. East Bengal knew with the spine they have, that is Hijazi Maher, Saul Crespo, upcoming camp, that is Mehdi Talal right now. Yes, Mehdi Talal has signed for East Bengal. It's not officially announced, but he has. And a
Day after
striker that
tomorrow. Day after tomorrow.
ये बोलना जरूरी नहीं था, but फिर भी ठीक है चलो. And obviously they had planned Clayton up front. Now they have Dimitri across up front. So that spine, when they have that spine in space, Saul is someone, he's not a traditional CDM. He's more of an box to box sort of an player, He likes going forward and stuff like that. So even East Bengal needed a CDM. Cut to it, who is the best CDM currently in India? And both teams thought it was Apuia. So both teams went for Apuia. And both teams were like, this is our primary Indian target number one, that is Apuia. And it was good. Both teams started talking. Now, uh, here's the thing that East Bengal lacks in the ISL, which Mohun Bagan have an advantage of being a merged team with ATK. All the Mohun Bagan fans, sorry to say it, yes, you are a merged entity. You have been in the ISL for a longer duration than East Bengal. They know the dynamics of how agencies and players and the media work. East Bengal, on the other hand, was still laid back in the late 2000s era when they were in the flying spot of 6, 7, 8 CFL leagues, and they were just like Mohun Bagan didn't even turn up for the derby games back then. So they were in that era. Mohun Bagan had evolved. They were doing their job in silence, while East Bengal kept doing their job in beating the drums. So cut to it, both teams started giving offers to Apuia, which were nothing Mumbai wanted to match. I'm sorry to say this to City Football Group and all your oil money. It was nowhere close to what both the clubs were offering for Apuia. And then came the game. Then came the game of, a game of shadows and misleading and whatever you call it, trying to influence the player, that you see it's not just money, it has this factors, everything. And to be honest, seeing current records, Mohnbagan Super Giants have the better record over East Bengal, and that persisted. Also, agents of certain agencies and everything, they have understood that, given the history that East Bengal have in the past few seasons with the club management and stuff, not Imami. I really respect Imami and what they're doing, but given, even if we go 3, 4 years back in history with the payment issues, so they sort of painted a rosy picture for Apuia for Mohun Bagan, and they were like, if you go to East Bengal, you'll be the star player, blah blah blah. But your chances of winning stuff at Mohun Bagan are better. And Apuia had made up his mind that he was going to Mohun Bagan. Last ditch effort by East Bengal that I know and I can say with authority is that yes, East Bengal offered more money. It's not way more money that certain people and certain sections are saying. It's marginally way more money for Apuia. That was the last ditch effort that East Bengal made. But by then, Apuia had, his reply was, I've already made up my mind. Uh, for my career, it's better I join Mohun Bagan. And then he joined Mohun Bagan Super Giants. So, yes, it is. But please note, Apuia is the first player to be signed under ISL's new rules of having two players outside the salary cap. And for context, just for context, I'll just put it out. I really didn't want to put this out. I'll put it out. Apuia is paid way, 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 way more than Mehdi Talal is paid. The highest assist getter of last season, what he's going to make this season, is way less than what Apuia makes this season. Amounts, I am not going to get into that. I haven't seen the contract papers myself yet, so I can't be 100% sure. It's a word of mouth. But yes, East Bengal had a better offer at the very last moment. At the very say, it was like too little, too late for East Bengal. Had they made that offer a bit earlier, maybe Apuya could have changed his mind, but it was too little, too late. And I get it from East Bengal's point of mind. When they have so many good, like when you have the highest assists for last season, when you have the highest goal scorers of last season, and you don't have blind money like RPSG to spend. RPSG has blind money to spend in sports. I don't know, like they're passionate or something like that, but they have, and it's not suitable or it's not sustainable model. I don't know what model they're following, but if you are following a sustainable model like Imami is doing, which I really prefer and which I really honestly like, so the moment you cross the threshold, you're like, that's not my bargain to play. And still, out of ego and prestige, the club made a better offer, but he was like, no, I've made my mind. I'm going otherwise. And then it's okay. He's playing for Mohun Bagan Super Giants. It's okay. That's his choice. Everyone has their choice. And congratulations for Mohun Bagan Super Giants, as their, I don't know what position he's in since it's a merged entity. He's the club president or whatever, he's football secretary or whatever he is, as Debashish Dutta said, that whoever Mohun Bagan wants, Mohun Bagan gets. Good for you. Well, the answers will be given on the field, I feel.
Indeed,
Right,
indeed.
right. Siddharth and Tanuj, any thoughts on your thoughts on Apuya deal? What do you think? How the season will span for Mohan Bagan with Apuya and for sorry, my camera is down.
With
And
which
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll just come in. I'll just come in. I'll just come in. But with all this spending that Mohun Bagan Super Giants has, I would just request them to ask their media team to stop their obsession with East Bengal. Be it Father's Day, be it a transfer signing, be it anything, they're obsessed with East Bengal FC, and that shows that they know their relevance in Indian football lies with us. And that shows that they're a merged entity. We are not bothered with them. They are the ones that are bothered with us. So, as a fan of East Bengal, I'm saying this openly in an open platform. I would request you, please stop your obsession of posting with relevance with us. Well, you can continue. I won't ask you to stop it. It shows that you are saying, please accept this merged entity as the original entity, and then there's no room for debate left.
right, right, right. Understandable, understandable. So yeah, moving on to
Yeah.
Siddharth, I'm calling Tanu Lowen. Okay, so your thoughts on Mohan Bagan with Apuya and East Bengal without Apuya going into the season. Siddharth,
Okay.
we'll start with you
Okay.
and then we'll end with Mr. Owen Coyle.
Okay. So basic. I don't need to say much here. We all know what is going around with the money thing. I just stated one thing. Like India is a inflated money market. 37th rank पे हम हैं. Srijan bhai ने वो बता दिया already. Apuya is getting so much of money. Madi Talal is like, bhai, what am I even doing? So that is a concern. because Indian football is not like a French league, or we can't see that path है यार. एक तो हमारा पूरा सिस्टम ही आईएसएल के ऊपर टिका हुआ है. ठीक है. सब उसी को बेच रहे हैं, सब इसी उसी को बिकवा के पूरा इंडिया का नाम कर रहा है बाहर में. That is why foreign courses are also coming in, trying their hands out, doing this, doing that. But ground reality doesn't change, मेरे भाई. Yes, respect and love for Apuia. He is only one of those Indian players who has got great touches. I'm a big fan of his. True. Okay. I am disheartened as an East Bengal fan.
Big
सबको ही
fan
को
too.
चाहिए
Big
यार.
fan too.
Big fan too, yeah. No disrespect. He deserves it. He deserves all the love. And I really wanted him to try his luck outside of India. परफेक्ट एज कुछ नहीं, मतलब ट्रेनिंग कुछ स्टिंट कर ले यार, मतलब 1 महीना 2 महीना कुछ भी होता. डिफरेंस इज रियल. Difference is real. Once you go out to Europe, once you play in India, difference is real. So then again, paisa, paisa, paisa. हो गया. Now we have seen in the past what MBSG has done with very good talented players. I'm not gonna name. You have seen emerging player सुमित राठी भाई साहब, उनके साथ भी क्या हो गया हमने देखा हुआ है. ठीक है. And yeah, I will fire shots because, as rightfully said Srijat Barra, every post of MBSG or RPSG, whatever I can say, I feel, I'll say, whatever they are, propagating or whatever is their manifesto, उनका हर एक मैनिफेस्टो शुरू होती है हमारे टीम से, खत्म होती है हमारे टीम से. तो मतलब आप पैसे भी दो, आप सब कुछ करो, फिर भी पड़े किसके पीछे हो? नहीं, ईस्ट बंगाल. क्यों? क्योंकि वजूद ही नहीं है. हमारे बगैर उनकी वजूद ही नहीं है. तो मतलब मैं क्या ही बोलूं यार. ठीक है, यू टेक अपुया, यू टेक whoever you want, you take whoever you want. आई एम हैप्पी. बट द थिंग इज, आई एम सैड इन द पार्ट कि अब बचा कौन? इफ नॉट अपुया, हु विल? वी नीड एन इंडियन सीडीएम. ठीक है, एनफ ऑफ बैंटर. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट टेक्निकल फ्रंट. वी नीड अ गुड सीडीएम. ठीक है. नाउ दैट इज अ पॉइंट. व्हाट डू वी हैव इन द मार्केट? I don't see anyone of that level. That is my
It's
only concern.
है
Yeah, go
मार्केट
ahead.
में है मार्केट में है बात चल रहा है. लेट्स सी.
Any hint?
This is the call link हुआ
नो
अभी.
हिंट्स, नो हिंट्स, नो हिंट्स.
no
Okay,
hits.
में है
okay. Fingers
मुझे
crossed.
दो है
पता है.
मार्केट. दो है मार्केट में. वन इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू गेट, वन इज डिफिकल्ट टू गेट.
I
बट
know.
हाँ, बात
I
चल रहा
know.
है. चलो.
I know
बस
that
बोल
that
रहा
one I know. कोई ना. Let's see. कोई बात नहीं भाई.
There are
कोई
two
दिक्कत नहीं है
available.
मुझे.
One is very difficult to get, one is difficult to get. We are talking with both. Let's see.
Let's see. Yeah. कोई हर्ज नहीं है.
Miss- Mr. Owen Coy, you
Uh,
can step
okay.
up.
Okay. If I was a sporting director of Mohan Bagan, I think I could have break the back on Jason Singh instead. I guess. I think he's tall. He can do the same task. He can also help you in covering spaces behind, and he can also unlock Anirudh Thapar to move forward. I think he could also be an idol. He's an idol figure for Mohan Bagan. But again, he can also add a feature of set pieces. I think. So he could have made Mohan Bagan more formidable in this aspect. But Apu is not bad. He can he can make them tactical, flexible to unlock the team like East Bengal and Jamshedpur FC who likes to sit deep. So I think this is a very good signing for Mohan Bagan. So I'm not sure about the background story of these two teams, so I can't comment about that. But for East Bengal, I think they have a good base. They can they score look like a top four contender for this ISL. Uh, they have and but I'm not a big fan of cars for that in this regard. Like they are very compact for at behind, but they don't create a lot. I think if you want to move forward, you need a good coach, a little bit of progressive coach that can help them to unlock their potential. So that's my thought on these two teams.
Right. Good, insightful remarks. He said maybe they could have gone for Jixon, and Jixon would have just
See,
given the
see, see.
luxury to. Yeah.
Ritwik, I'll just come in. What I know is that last moment, the very last moment, before sending a more lucrative offer to Apuia, East Bengal took a span of few days, and they stopped the negotiations, which led Mohun Bagan to get ahead and just secure the deal. The reason was they decided on what Tanuj said. What are the strengths and weaknesses of Apuia and Jikson?
I think Apuia is good at scanning spaces and moving in tight pockets. So he's good in unlocking Anil Thapa.
But whereas Jikson, he can you know lay down back and do his stuff
Uh,
from there.
he can also
Batting
help
also.
in set pieces in the during corners.
So they have someone like Sol Crespo that moves into tight spaces and stuff.
Okay.
They
Right.
want someone that
All
can
Kessler is good.
they want someone that which can actually be the proper screen in front of the defense. Which
They saw with Chakrabarti, na? They saw with
uh,
Chakrabarti. He was a good screener
like
in
Sovic
the
is the
Super Cup
only
finals.
Sovic is the only proper CDM East Bengal have, and he like
Have.
age is catching up, and you have technical abilities and everything is questionable when it comes to
Uh,
that. So that
uh,
is why they
True.
were looking for a suitable replacement. I'm not telling that Jackson is going to come to East Bengal or like
Again.
any player, any player. But the thing is, the type of player East Bengal needs to target is someone like a Jackson. If not Jackson, obviously Apuia was a choice. We lost him. Forget him. Let's move on. After Jackson, who else is left? I think probably Suresh. If not
uh,
Suresh, then we go down to Sahil
Yep.
Tavora, Ajay Chetri, and then the list keeps going down.
I think
At the moment,
in this season, Jitendra Singh was available for in the market. I think he could have had a future in this team. But again, Chennai was
currently,
more quick to react to it.
if East Bengal try to take Jackson, they'll obviously overpay if they wanted to take Jackson probably in May. Say, if they wanted to take Jackson in May, and now if they want to take Jackson with even Mumbai City FC without a proper CDM, Vinith Rai and Apuya have left. So Mumbai City FC want a CDM too. So obviously they have to overpay. Had they
Uh,
gone for the proper choice back then, back in May, it would have been way better. And this is where I feel East Bengal need a proper sort of sporting director and the background staff to be settled down properly. You have a CTO, that's good. You need a sporting director and everything that overlooks everything and has that amount of experience in the market and dealing with stuff.
so how many foreign spots are left for East Bengal?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
How many foreign spots are reserved for East Bengal right now?
Foreign players,
Yes, like you have signed 5 players right now. You
five,
can get
five,
so
and
one more is left.
I think they'll sign seven. If I'm not wrong, they'll probably go for seven given the AFC Cup, since you can register more in the AFC Cup. So they probably will go to seven in the AFC Cup, and the ISL will depend on which players can fill up whatever spot you can. So let's be honest, Hizazi, Saul, Talal, and Dimi are four players that are sure shot to be uh, signed for the ISL. Clayton
Yeah.
is someone will depend on the rest of the two or the rest of the three, given the club has money for more three. So that's it.
Right. That's it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. It is the clock has already turned 12, so we are on
Anji.
26th June. So, wishing you a very everyone a very happy and very good night. We will talk to you in the next episode. We will talk about the transfers and details. We will talk about every small and big details that are going on with clubs, possibly by next weekend, uh, where we will get big insights, maybe an insight on the new Indian head coach as well. Inside as in who all has applied
Yep.
apart from the said names that are in the market right now. Probably next week we can disclose a few names here and there. But let's see.
मजा
Thank
आएगा.
you guys. Thank
Bye
you.
bye, guys. Good night.
Bye
See you
guys.
later.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
जी.
Chalo.